Oh wait, sideboard. So we have Wear and Tear, your catch-all enchantment and artifact hate. So we have 3 slots just for that. Not too shabby. The next card is Geth's Verdict. 2 black. Target player sacrifices a creature and loses 1 life as an instant. This is an interesting card that can be imprinted. Double black can be rough at times, but this is to help you deal with decks that have creatures that are bigger than yours, like Reanimation and Jund, and also this card is effective against creatures that you can't target, such as everything in Boggles, Thrun, The Last Troll, and Geist of St. Traft, and anything else that you can't target for whatever reason. Next is the Mind Sensor. This card is awesome. It is mainly needed to help even out the pod matchup. Instant speed means you can play it in response to something and maybe win a prize. It also has evasion and beats for 2 while stuffing your opponents and their tutor effects. Next is Blind Obedience. You probably don't know what this card does, but it is basically gives all of your spells extort, and also your opponent's artifacts and creatures come into the battlefield tapped. So with this card, you can use this card to Jedi mind trick your twin player into thinking that they can't win, but mainly this helps you give added value to all of your spells, and also gain some life and do some damage along the way. When playing an aggro deck, getting in as much damage as possible is ever so important. I put this in against Jund and other mid-range decks that have bigger creatures than me, so I can outgrind them and draw into my removal spells. Next is Rakdos Charm. I love this charm. It has 3 super relevant abilities. 1, wiping a graveyard. For example, against Pod and Persist, and also gifts Reanimation Cheese, and also against Snapcaster Cheese as well. You also get redundant artifact removal, so you have 6 artifact removal spells in the board. Useful against Affinity. And then lastly, my favorite ability is Surprise Damage. The mode reads, each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. For example, if you're playing against a bad twin player, if they make 1,000,000 copies, guess what? They take 1,000,000 damage. Usually this card is a bad bolt, but has the potential to do a lot more damage to give you a lot of extra reach. And finally, my absolute favorite card, Volcanic Fallout. This card pretty much should just read Uncounterable Instant Wrath for 3 mana versus most decks, especially against Pod and Delver, to name a few. It's also a good answer to Geist of St. Traft, a card I don't like seeing. This card has surprised a lot of people, and especially a lot of blue mages. The best part is you see it coming, so don't wrath yourself out of the game. Don't play your dudes until you've successfully 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 or 4 for 1 or whatever you think is a good trade-off. I also put this in against anything blue for just extra uncounterable damage. Ta-da!